Recently, there is a controversial American internet streamer known as Johnny Somali, causing much issue in Japan. Having him arrested on September 21, 2023, came after an audacious incident in which he trespassed onto a hotel construction site in Osaka a month earlier. His controversial actions were not limited to this trespassing incident. He had a history of creating provocative content, including making offensive remarks about the atomic-bombed cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki while in Japan. Additionally, he had engaged in disruptive behaviors at various locations within Osaka, such as filming in bars and restaurants without permission. As a case study, let's explore the potential legal issues that travelers should be aware of when visiting Japan. We will examine the laws that could potentially be violated during a visit. However, please note that, as a disclaimer, we are not legal professionals or government officials, and we do not provide legal advice. The information presented is based on publicly available sources on the internet, and is intended to offer insights into possible legal scenarios based on research. It does not represent definitive legal outcomes. Trespassing incident. In Japan, trespassing in someone else's residence or entering restricted areas without a legitimate reason can result in imprisonment for up to 3 years, or a fine of up to 100,000 yen, as stipulated in the Japan Penal Code and the misdemeanor law. Enter vehicle without driver incident. Is it regarded as theft, even if the vehicle isn't stolen outright? Or does it fall under the category of attempted theft? It appears to be a somewhat ambiguous situation, but the Penal Code clearly addresses both actual theft and attempted theft scenarios. Daunting, intimidating, harassment incident. This section of the misdemeanor law prohibits individuals from displaying extreme disrespect or rudeness towards patrons in public entertainment venues or passengers in various forms of public transportation. It also encompasses disruptive and violent behavior in such settings. Play loud music in public area incident. Under the misdemeanor law, causing disruptions and disturbances in the neighborhood due to abnormally loud noises such as loud human voices, musical instruments, or radios, without heeding warnings from public officials is prohibited. Blocking train doors incident. Could we interpret this as potentially causing a delay in train services, preventing other trains from entering the station, or, in a worst-case scenario, leading to a collision between two trains? Such incidents could pose a danger to passengers, cause damage to the trains and tracks, and ultimately create a hazardous situation within the station. Instigating incident. Japan's Penal Code, in Chapter 32 covering crimes of intimidation, outlines the consequences for intimidating someone by threatening harm to their life, body, freedom, reputation, or property. This offense can lead to imprisonment for up to 2 years, or a fine of up to 300,000 yen. The law also applies to threats against the victim's relatives. Moreover, the Penal Code addresses compulsion, where an individual uses intimidation or assault to force another person to perform an act they are not obliged to do, or hinders them from exercising their rights. This crime can result in imprisonment for up to 3 years. Attempting to commit these crimes is also subject to legal penalties. Defamation or insulting a person on video incident. Certainly, Japan's Penal Code addresses offenses against an individual's reputation. Defamation, as outlined in Article 230, involves publicly making allegations against another person, regardless of their veracity, and can result in penalties of imprisonment without labor for up to 3 years, or a fine of up to 500,000 yen. It's worth noting that if the defamation targets a deceased individual, punishment is only applicable if it's founded on false facts. Similarly, insults, as detailed in Article 231, encompass publicly insulting another person, irrespective of the allegation's factual basis, and can lead to penal detention or a minor fine. However, it's important to acknowledge that determining whether an act constitutes defamation or insults is not within our purview. Apart from this incident, a Canadian teenager was questioned for allegedly defacing a UNESCO-listed temple in Japan in July 2023, suspicion of violating the Cultural Properties Protection Law. The carving was made on the pillar of the temple's Golden Hall, which is a designated national treasure. As tourists, it's vital to show respect for the nations we visit, adhere to their regulations, and conduct ourselves appropriately. Remember, when we travel, we're not just representing ourselves but also our home countries, and any violations of local laws can have repercussions on our country's image. And please do note that, under Japanese law, persons suspected of a crime can be detained for 23 days without charge. The length of detention, up to the maximum period, is at the discretion of the public prosecutor and subject to the approval of local courts. It's crucial to exercise caution while exploring Japan, ensuring that you avoid engaging in any inadvertent actions that could lead to unforeseen incidents. Please note that this is merely a case study and does not reflect the official stance or judgments of Japan courts. Some of the regulations mentioned may not perfectly align with specific incidents, but are provided as general awareness for travelers during their visits to Japan. Safe travel. Click here for more videos regarding essential information about your trip to Japan. Thank you for staying to the end.